In the dying months of World War II, as Japan's empire trembled and firestorms swept across its cities, a single symbol of naval pride remained, an iron giant unlike any warship ever built. A vessel forged from steel, honor, and desperation. Her name was Yamato. The world knew her as the largest battleship ever to sail. Japan knew her as the last samurai of the sea. This is the story of her final voyage. A journey not of victory, but of sacrifice. The mid-1930s. As tensions grow across the Pacific, Japan fears one thing above all: American industrial power. The United States could build ships faster than Japan could sink them. So the Imperial Japanese Navy chooses another path. Build something so powerful, no enemy ship could defeat it. Hidden beneath towering layers of secrecy in the core naval arsenal, construction begins on a battleship so massive that blueprints were locked in vaults and workers sworn to silence. Project planners called her Design A-140. The world would know her as Yamato. Dimensions: 263 meters long, 72,000 tons fully loaded, belt armor up to 16 inches thick, 9 monstrous 46-centimeter, 18.1-inch guns, the largest ever mounted on a warship. These guns could fire a shell weighing as much as a small car over 40 kilometers. Every bolt, every rivet was a message to the world. Japan will not bow. On December 16, 1941, 1 week after Pearl Harbor, Yamato is commissioned under Captain Gihachi Takayanagi. She immediately becomes the flagship of the combined fleet under Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto, architect of Pearl Harbor. Yamato's existence remains a secret. Photographs are forbidden. Even sailors serving on her cannot speak her name in public. A giant has awakened, but her true test is yet to come. Yamato remains hidden for much of the early war, protected like a priceless artifact. Fuel shortages limit her deployments, and as aircraft carriers dominate the seas, battleships fade from center stage. But Yamato watches as the tides turn. Midway, Guadalcanal, the Solomons. One by one, Japan's victories crumble. By 1943, Admiral Yamamoto, her first commander-in-chief, is killed when American P-38 fighters ambush his aircraft. Yamato loses not only the man who gave her purpose, but the strategic vision that built her fate. Under Captain Keizo Kimura, Yamato sails in 1944 as part of the massive fleet assembled for the Battle of the Philippine Sea, the so-called Great Marianas Turkey Shoot. Her guns thunder, but Japanese naval aviation is annihilated. Yamato is forced to retreat to Japan. For the first time, the invincible giant appears powerless. October 1944. General MacArthur returns to the Philippines. Japan launches the desperate Operation Shogo, the largest naval battle in its history. Yamato, under the command of Vice Admiral Takeo Kurita, sails with the center force, battleships, cruisers, destroyers, tasked with crushing American landing forces. On October 24th, American aircraft from carriers USS Intrepid, USS Cabot, and USS Essex strike the fleet in the Sibuyan Sea. Yamato unleashes her enormous anti-aircraft firepower, blasting the sky with steel and flame. She is hit once by a bomb but shrugs off the blow. Her sister ship Musashi is not so lucky. 19 torpedoes and 17 bombs tear her apart. Musashi sinks under a boiling cloud of fire as Yamato watches helplessly. The sea grows quieter. One giant has fallen. Yamato sails on. The next day, October 25th, Kurita's force encounters a small American escort carrier group off Samar, Task Unit 77.4.3, known as Taffy 3. Destroyers like USS Johnston, USS Hoel, and USS Heermann, along with tiny escort carriers like USS Gambier Bay, face down Yamato and the mightiest surface fleet Japan has left. Yamato fires her massive 18-inch guns, the largest shells ever fired in naval combat. Great geysers erupt around the fleeing American ships. But Taffy 3 fights with impossible courage. American destroyers charge straight into the battleships. Aircraft with no bombs make strafing runs. Pilots drop fuel tanks like improvised explosives. Confusion spreads across the Japanese fleet. Believing he is facing a much larger American force, Admiral Kurita withdraws. The moment that could have changed the war disappears into the sea. And for Yamato, the path home is the path toward doom. By early 1945, Japan is cornered. Iwo Jima falls. Okinawa becomes the next target, and the Imperial Navy is nearly gone. Aircraft carriers, destroyed. Fuel reserves, almost empty. Air power, crushed. Only one weapon remains with symbolic meaning, Yamato. On April 5, 1945, Japan launches a final, suicidal plan. Operation Tengo. Yamato will sail with a small escort toward Okinawa. She has no air cover, no chance of survival. Her mission, beach herself on the island and become a steel fortress, firing until destroyed. A samurai's last charge. Crewmen receive the news in silence. Many write farewell letters. Some cry. Others steel themselves for death. Yamato's final captain is Captain Kosaku Ariga, a calm, steady officer deeply respected by his men. He knows the mission is hopeless, yet he sails. On April 6th, Yamato departs Tokuyama. Her escorts include the cruiser Yahagi and 8 destroyers. This is the last operational force of the Imperial Japanese Navy. American intelligence intercepts the plan almost immediately. Waiting for Yamato are hundreds of aircraft from Task Force 58, Admiral Raymond Spruance's carrier force. The trap is set. April 7, 1945, 12:20 p.m. Radar operators aboard Yamato detect incoming aircraft. The sea is calm, the horizon is clear, and then the sky darkens. The first wave attacks. Dauntless, Corsairs and Helldivers, Avengers. Yamato fires every gun she has, hundreds of shells per minute. Her anti-aircraft guns spit fire into the heavens. The noise is deafening, but the Americans come in waves. 12:41 p.m. Torpedo hit number 1. A massive explosion rocks Yamato's portside. She lists. Damage control teams race to seal compartments. Moments later, more torpedo strikes. Water floods her engines. Her speed slows. Her turning ability fades. Dive bombers scream down, dropping 1,000-pound bombs that punch into decks and ignite infernos. Captain Ariga stays on the bridge. He refuses to leave his ship. 2:02 p.m. A final torpedo salvo hits Yamato's portside. Her list reaches 20 degrees, then 30, then 40. Inside, sailors are thrown against bulkheads. Some drown in rising water. Others fight to save their ship long after survival becomes impossible. 2:23 p.m., Yamato capsizes. As she rolls over, her massive forward magazine, filled with tons of explosives, detonates. A blinding white flash, a mushroom cloud towering 6 kilometers into the sky. Shock waves ripple across the sea. The world's largest battleship is gone. Out of roughly 3,000 men, only 269 survive, plucked from the oily waves by Japanese destroyers like Fuyazuki and Yukikaze. Captain Kosaku Ariga goes down with his ship as a true captain of the old Navy. He is last seen near the Compass Bridge, refusing rescue, choosing to die with his men. The last samurai battleship has fallen. Yamato was not merely a warship, she was a symbol of power, of pride, of tragedy. Her final voyage, Operation Tengo, is remembered not as a tactical defeat, but as an act of defiance in the face of impossible odds. Today, artifacts from Yamato rest in the Kure Maritime Museum, and remnants lie deep on the ocean floor south of Kyushu, silent, cold, eternal. Her story lives on, not as the weapon Japan hoped would win the war, but as a reminder of the cost of ambition, pride, and sacrifice. In the end, Yamato did not change the course of the war, but she changed history. The last samurai battleship sailed into legend, not because she won, but because she dared to fight when hope itself was gone. A giant born of steel, a warrior forged in fire, a symbol that even in defeat, honor endures. This was Yamato, the last battleship to die a samurai's death.